let's kickstart this session. So the idea is at Kaplan, we thought we'll share our views on the common questions which most candidates have about the CFA program. All of you are, of course, here because you've heard of the CFA, heard of its prestige. It is a very in-demand program, and I have the pleasure of having Nicola and the Kaplan team to share their views on why this program is so prominent, why it's gaining so much attention, especially as the whole private wealth industry is developing in the UAE. More on that from Nicola and myself as we go forward. Let's start with a few quick introductions. Myself, Akshay Bhandari. I'm a finance trainer with Kaplan. I have over 10 years of industry experience in the investment banking field. During all this, we'll realize that finance in itself is a very high responsibility profession, and you do need something which is passionate to you for you to let out that steam. For me, training was a passion, and that brings me in front of you today. So I have myself, I'm an engineer who's pursued this CFA charter holder without having any finance background. This is one of the questions we'll address in some short time as well. But more about my friend Nicola. You can read
Uh,
about all his achievements over here. And let me introduce Nicola as well. Nicola is also with Kaplan. He's a associate trainer with us. And as you can see, has a very prestigious career. Currently a CEO with NetOil, a very prominent company in the oil and gas space. Nicola, a little bit about yourself. It will be helpful for the audience to know where you're coming from.
sure. But Akshay, thank you for giving me the word. Yeah, the idea that Akshay just shared, so the impact of CFA is something that I've been bringing to myself. Actually, I also not don't have a strictly financial background. But when I embarked into the journey of taking the CFA qualification, I was already in banking. Okay, so my background started to evolve, and I undertook the program at a quite interesting time of my life. I was between leaving the banking industry and joining the investment industry. Okay, it may sound like a little bit technical, but it's a nuance that is quite relevant out there. And the CFA was for me a moment of truth. In fact, as Akshay mentioned very correctly, it's a prestigious nomination. It's a very enduring path, and it really helped me a lot. I've been with Kaplan now for the past 2 to 3 years, and with the team absolutely available to share everything. I'm actually, I think the value I can bring here is to come both as CIO of NetOil, so as an employer, what do I look at when we screen for candidates? And of course, as a trainer, anything absolutely of value, I can bring it to the table.
Wonderful, my friend. As here you've heard actually from Nicola, he is someone who has pursued the CFA and probably the right candidate to share his views because he's someone who's actually applying these concepts in real life. He's
Sure.
seen the journey of what CFA brings value and what kind of skill sets he's been taught through the CFA program, and also in his current role as an employer, where he's able
Yeah.
to seek the same skill sets in candidates which he himself has done. So more from Nicola as we get to a few sections. But for the broader audience, let me start with the context. Firstly, about what exactly is the CFA program? A little more clarity on that before we come back to Nicola and get his view on why to do the CFA program. Kaplan, a little introduction about ourselves. We are the world's largest diversified education company. We are listed in the US with a market capitalization of more than $3 billion. And as you can see, it's been almost 80 years since Kaplan has been at the forefront of certification education across the world. We are currently across 30 countries in over 100 cities. We not only deal with individual learners, we also are the preferred choice of trainers for most businesses and corporate trainings out there. So if you know someone in any of these corporates, you will definitely hear a name from them as well. Our plan or our structure for this program today is we'll introduce the CFA charter. Then we'll go to Nicola and discuss more about the Dubai financial landscape and the commonly asked questions which most candidates have. After Nicola's experience share, we'll open the forum for questions from any candidate. And then towards the end, we'll discuss generally how we recommend one should prepare for the CFA. So let's start with the introduction. The CFA program is, as you already know, it's the gold standard currently in the wealth management and investment industry. You will come across various financial certifications, but the one certification you will hear everywhere, especially even on job descriptions, is going to be the CFA program. Why? Because it provides you real world investment skills. And once you start learning the CFA, you'll realize that it has a certain premium, it has a certain niche, it has a way of making sure you've understood the concept holistically, which is what clients value so much. And that is why the CFA charter remains a prestigious title to add in front of your name. It's a three-layered exam, three levels, and currently there are more than 200,000 CFA charter holders over the world. May seem like a lot, may seem like less, but trust me, this is 200 charter holders across more than 50 years in the wealth management industry. So think of that in any way you think is relevant. So a little more about how we get the charter. So three-layered exam. Level one is teaching you about the basics of finance. And Nicola mentioned later on that even me, we never had that financial background. And you don't need a financial background. Level one of CFA is your financial background. So here it happens 4 times in a year. Level one, level two is where you get into a little more advanced techniques. Once you learn the basics, what are stocks? How do we look at it? What are bonds? How do we look at it? What are the tools to understand where to invest? That is level one. How do you use them in a more advanced application? Level two. And finally, real world making of an investment portfolio is level three. So across three levels, it's a very, very structured and well thought out program. Level one is your background. You'll get everything from scratch about what the CFA program is. Level one happens 4 times a year. Level two on 3 exam dates, and level three on 2 windows during the year. Level one and level two are 100% multiple choice questions. Level three ends up being half multiple choice, half subjective. Lastly, the level three, once you end it, the CFA, the charter, the prestige of having the CFA name comes along with, after the level three exam or alongside it, you should have 3 years of relevant work experience that solves the entire requirement and gives you the three letters in front of your name. Just give you a brief of one of the levels. I'll show you level one, conducted in the 4 months. Once you give the exam, they generally give you within roughly 6 to 8 weeks, they'll give you an idea of what your score is. Score is around 1600. We'll come to the scoring at a later date. And generally, the pass rate is around 41% in the global average of things. When we talk about the topics, and this is one of the reasons why the CFA is so highly valued, because of its holistic learning it provides you. So across, you may look at other certifications, the depth and the breadth is unmatched. You will not be able to see such a well thought out curriculum, which gets you from zero to probably a person who can talk to other financial professionals in any community or event with such a structured methodology. And to give you a highlight, most of these programs, you're seeing 10 broad chapters or topics provided to you. These 10 topics are split into two categories. One is they'll cover all the tools which you need to analyze, such as ethics, such as financial reporting analysis, such as quantitative methods, economics, and corporate issues. On the second category of topics, you'll have all the asset classes. You'll understand stocks, bonds, how they work. You'll understand derivatives, economics, as well as portfolio management. That's a brief about what exactly are we talking about when we say the CFA certification. Let's have a look of what this means in the Dubai context. So generally, Nicola, if you can give us an idea about what you see in the Dubai landscape
Yes.
about how the CFA program or how CFA-like skill sets are getting more in demand in Dubai.
Absolutely, absolutely, Akshay. Well, Dubai, I would say, since I've been based in Dubai since 2023, 2022, actually. And before that, I was based for many years, almost 2 decades in Russia. Okay, so the place that I found, the Emirates that I found in 2022, are exactly I think one of the most exciting times I've ever seen in my life, in my career. I think this is a place of incredible innovation. It's getting up to speed with with modern financial times really fast. And the landscape that I see right now, I would just borrow your words, Akshay, in regards to the micro sections of the CFA exam. So let's, for example, look at wealth management. Wealth management is actually, as of 2026, I think the name of the game in town. Okay, there has been a huge inflow of capital from, you name it, Europe, Russia, China, Far East, and you can easily check on the internet how many millionaires and billionaires every year relocate to Dubai or to the UAE in general. So that creates capital. Okay, that creates one of the world's largest pools, actually, of capital coming to the city, to the town, to the region, to the area. Wealth management has been tremendously growing over the past 3 years to welcome this capital coming to the region. So it has evolved from just, let me put it this way, being a little bit more of a real estate slash family office sort of advisory, to now including round products like we know them, alternative assets, stocks, bonds, and property management. Okay, so wealth management is definitely booming, and it's actually competing with the traditional capitals, pun intended, of this industry, which is namely London, Switzerland, Monaco. I'm originally from Monaco, so I've seen with my eyes. I'm 41, about to become 41. When I was a boy, wealth management was the thing of Monaco. Okay, and now in the course of my life, I've seen that center of interest in Europe moving slowly and ceding pace to Dubai. Okay, banking is it's actually getting. It's actually, I like to call it the boring side of things, but banking in Dubai is really tied to trade finance. Okay, so financing trading operations via products like letters of credit, and performance bonds, bid bonds, because the economy of this region undoubtedly is tied to commodities, not just energy, commodities in general. This is a logistic hub for the world. Okay, and banks most likely have developed skills that serve the needs of companies. Many of us don't know, but it's because they are private. So that's why I was borrowing from Akshay. But that ultimately govern billions of dollars of assets. I just give you a few names: Vitol, which is based out of Bahrain; Trafigura, which is in Abu Dhabi and Dubai; Gunvor, Mercuria. So these are companies that, taken together, have assets in excess of $1 trillion. Okay, and banks in Dubai and in the UAE definitely have them at the top of their mind when it comes to originating new products. Lastly, I've seen the mentioning of CFA program in regards to asset management. Now, asset management, I think you could not do anything better than going CFA. Just as Akshay was saying, the breadth and scope and depth of the materials are unmatched. Me, in my profession, Net Oil is an oil company. I can tell you that when I sit in the investment committee and we have like to establish a new contract or a new procedure or to review a strategy, we make reference to the asset management chapters of the CFA program. That's how relevant that is. Okay. In the UAE, I see an asset management industry flourishing. It's growing up very fast. Of course, we're not talking about US standards because the economy over here is different, but it's definitely thriving. There is need of professional, bad need of professionals. And that's why when I was anticipating before, I look at the UAE with the eyes of the employer. All I can say is that knowing that a candidate has undergone the three steps, the three exam procedure of the CFA program, I know the effort, I know the method, I know the also sometimes the pain, but also the excitement of getting something that's so round and up to speed like the CFA program, and that's what I see today in 2026 in Dubai.
Oh, fantastic. So, just to add to what you're mentioning, you bought out the wealth management industry,
Yeah,
and we are also based in DIFC, the Kaplan office. So, in the DIFC region, the DIFC compound, the three or four buildings right next to us, the Liberty House, Century Financial Towers, Central Park Towers, and Emirates Financial Towers, every floor, at the minimum, every floor, and these are
absolutely,
all 30, 40-story buildings, every
absolutely,
floor has at least one or two wealth management offices.
absolutely.
That's how prominent this industry has developed. And the best part, the last week, His Highness just announced DIFC 2.0, which is going to be twice the size. So you can imagine
Mhm.
what more is in store, at least for the wealth management industry.
Absolutely.
So definitely exciting times ahead. Now, Nicola, I'll pick your brain on
Sure.
some of the common questions which the candidates generally ask us. And
Yeah,
we'd love to hear your practical views as to
sure.
how do you look at it, not from our side, but from your side, who you see in the industry. So the first rule obviously being um, more about what are the in-demand roles which you see.
Yeah,
And some part of it you've already led the way with wealth management, but within
yeah.
wealth management, if you can talk about the exact skill set and the other prominent roles which are seeing that CFA demand coming in from your experience.
Very good. Very good. Absolutely. Well, I can just take a step back to answer this question. Um, the last 5 years have, I would say, not radically changed. They've disrupted the skill set needed in the financial industry. Okay. That's why I was joking a little bit when I mentioned that banking was boring because it has been one of the most stable industries. You can check that performances, the dividends out there are really stable over time. And over the past 5 years, the disruptions brought about by the technological revolutions up there, you name it, blockchain, now there is AI, they're really changing the skill set. So I would say at present, the most sought after role that would tremendously benefit from having a CFA certification is that of a wealth manager. For a family office, having a trusted, well, I have a family office myself, so I've been hiring, not actually very recently, but just like last onboarding was last year, and we currently managing in the rounds of $60 million. That's not a lot, but it's a family office, and the figures that I needed in my team, first of all, absolutely wealth management, meaning financial planning, programming, financial scheduling. These are skills that, and I would say scheduling, and on top of that, structuring financial products, which means understanding financial products, understanding contracts, understanding the economic and financial implications of choices. Taxation is extremely sought after. Not just at the family office level, but also the corporate level, and especially if our candidates are aiming at tapping the international job market, taxation is really high in demand. And now I see in the slide, and that's where I wanted to go. Risk management is on fire right now. There is bad need for that at all levels, not just financial risk management, but also industrial, operational, legal, reputational. I would say that one of the roles that, for the most part of the last 2 decades, has been overlooked, that is exactly that of the chief risk officer, is now coming back with a roar because not just of the macroeconomic instability, but more in general, companies have understood that risk is not linear. I don't want to get technical, but it's not something that's easily forecasted and it's easily managed. It's something that requires deep down analysis. CFA program across the three levels gives this expertise. And when finally I just wanted to leave this as last. I'm reading in the slide about IPOs. It's official news that our company is going IPO by next year on the stock market of Abu Dhabi. There has been a flurry of IPO over the past few years. Salik, you name it, Dubizo, I think, and now everybody is expecting the IPO of Etihad. Okay, definitely a CFA charter holder may find an interesting and thriving career as an investment banker. That's what I've been doing for 15 years of my life. World has completely changed, complete new set of skills, and I would say in the new world, in this region, having those skills can only come with a trusted education partner like Kaplan.
Yeah, fantastic. So just to add to what Nicola mentioned as well, so when we analyze, we see that most economies or most countries, let's take example US and UK, first they start off with basic industrialization,
Yeah,
and once they reach a certain level and scale, then the next step of the country is to go into financialization, which is creating
absolutely,
a financial market,
absolutely.
inviting investors. This happened with US in early 19th century. This happened with London in 1940s. This has happened recently with all the emerging markets, the Indias of the world, Chinas of the world, which in the past 20 to 40 years have gone through that financialization. And from the looks of things, I think Nicola, correct me if I'm wrong, but all the signs point out that the Middle East has at least gone through that industrialization and it's slowly
Absolutely.
opening up to a financial economy as well, especially with
100%.
the stock
100%.
markets opening up and probably bond markets being very popular.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's where I think what Nicola mentioned about risk management is also there. But there's a unique flavor which is very unique for the UAE compared to the other markets I mentioned, which is the presence of family offices. I think what Nicola mentioned. So the Mubadlas of the world, the Adias of the world. And I was talking to a few candidates and they said uh, they have an internal requirement. I think the CFA, they've specifically pointed out that the CFA is at least something which is recognized in these organizations. So before moving on to the next element, Nicola, one common question which I think most of the candidates have is they're not fine the financial background, and you just mentioned that you also started without a financial background, but here you are. You're leading the
Absolutely.
investments for a
No,
completely different
100%.
organization.
100%. Actually, it's I think the beauty, the absolute beauty of CFA is that it gives everything in one package. It's inside of those and materials, you find all that you need to know and all that you have to be tested upon on exam day. Okay. Nothing pre-required, nothing from school, of course, some algebra, but not even that much because again, the quantitative method section is really deep. It goes to the finest and grainiest details. So I would say not only not having, I have a mathematics background, okay? Now, not only those not having a financial background should not worry, but I believe that having CFA as a non-finance person is twice as powerful because you just unite your competences. Okay. And in this, I think I'll just really steal a minute of the attention of the audience talking about what's my biggest area of personal research. It's financial literacy. Financial literacy, as Akshay was mentioning, as we witness the financialization of the economy, is now not just a nice to have type of skill, it's a must have type of skill. Okay. To make informed decisions, to make well educated choices, all of us need to know something about finance. Now, CFA, as I was mentioning before, materials are so rich, encompassing. You will appreciate enormously the quality of the writing, the prestige and the authority of the sources. It's really something that just as Akshay was mentioning, in the offices of Mubadala, in the offices of NetOil, they use them as references. I can tell you, I know, I'm inside of those offices very often. When I cannot mention what bank, but I was recently in the IFC, okay, at an investment bank to move forward with our IPO. I can tell you, I saw CFA materials in one of the meeting rooms. That's really how cogent that curriculum ultimately is. So no worries, everything is inside of the package, and all that can be built on top of that comes from the sequences, the tranching of the levels of the program itself. Okay, so level 2 builds on level 1, level 3 builds on level 2 and level 1, but it's all encompassed, it's all included in the Kaplan and CFA experience.
Wonderful. So, what just to also say the same thing Nicola is saying, obviously using what Kaplan's language and Kaplan's viewpoint, what we see is that the skill set across all three levels. In other programs, you'll get one level, two levels, or some bits and pieces of it. So you'll see a lot of candidates trying to do one level of some certification. They'll achieve a certain level of understanding, like a basic finance. Then they'll go for one more certification.
Correct.
But when you look at the CFA, as Nicola mentioned, this is complete package. You don't need anything else. Level one, and trust me or trust Nicola when he says it, that even level one is widely accepted in the industry as a job ready skill set.
Absolutely.
So the level one program is the basics of finance. It'll stand against any degree out there which tells you about the basics. It is as good, if not better. Level two, and to be honest, level two itself will put you at par or higher than most advanced degrees. Even
Absolutely.
we'll come to the MBA part as well. We'll cover almost everything the MBA finance covers. And level three is something which is very unique to CFA. It is actually putting you in the shoes of one of the asset managers, family offices, or traditional fund managers, and saying that what would you do in these situations, which is completely unique. I doubt you'll find that kind of a curriculum or that level three somewhere else. So definitely something which has withstood the test of time, still in demand, and given the outlook, doesn't look like there is something else competing against it. So, and since we are at the part of candidates choosing CFA, obviously without a financial background, we said that CFA is fine. But then comes the counter argument that there is CFA on one side, but isn't there an option for MBA? And just to reiterate to the audience, I'll invite Nicola again. Nicola is someone who's done MBA from London Business School and who's done the CFA program, all three levels, is a chartered holder. So he is the best person to tell you about what his experience was and what he would pick for what reasons, the advantages and disadvantages of both.
Yeah. See, Akshay, you are also MBA, so we are two of a kind around the panel. It's actually completely different choices. Going CFA, I mean, again, in this case, I'm really speaking as a charter holder, an employer, and a fund manager. I think that when I read CFA, I know who's in front of me. I know the preparation, the methodology. I know that that person has taken a big choice in its life. That person has endured times of study, lots of practice, maybe supported by Kaplan, tutorings and colleagues. So to achieve that, just as Akshay mentioned, is an achievement. It's really value adding. Okay. Going MBA has, for me, has had a completely different interpretation. I just literally came to the region. I didn't know anything about the Middle East. I didn't know anything. I had no network. All my network belongs to Russia. So when in January 2022, we decided with my wife and my family to move over here, it was for me a way of gently, tactfully stepping into a new reality, stepping into a new world. So to me, London Business School was a way to rebuild actually a network, incredibly successful. I don't deny that. It was a great experience. I've made bonds that financially, not financially, that will last for I hope for decades, and that's something intangible but extremely tangible, if you know what I mean. So I would that's why I framed in the slide specialist generalist. My 2 cents, but this is really Nicola Pasquale speaking. Um, when specialization, when expertise and skill get into play, you want to go pro. You want to raise your level. You want to up your game. Okay. As I was mentioning, I think in the financial landscape of the UAE, that level of specialization is really sought after. Generalism, to me, is it was actually a moment for me once again, to create a name and a reputation for myself and my companies in this region. I would say to a potential and prospective candidate, look very carefully at what moment of your life you're in. Are you wanting to escalate the corporate ladder in your firm? Then maybe an MBA would be the one. Are you willing to enter the financial industry? I would go CFA without hesitations. Would you like to move or rotate diagonally your career? Then I would go CFA. It's actually, I like to say it's like a topping on a salad. Look at your salad and choose how you want to dress it.
No, wonderfully put. So, am I right in saying, Nicola, that if you want job-ready skills, CFA is the choice?
See,
But
absolutely.
obviously, with some experience, and if you want to have some relationships on top of that, then the MBA plays a good alternative
Yeah. Yes.
with
Yes.
some experience at least provided.
Correct.
Okay, so just I think a high-level summary. I'm sure most of you who are evaluating this are very familiar with this. So, the key trade-offs obviously being cost versus time. MBA is a quicker program, but it's a full-time program. You can't work alongside. So on the CFA side, while it takes longer, it is something which allows you to do a job simultaneously. In terms of, I would say, in terms of
Yes.
the broader market, this is obviously some sample data from one of the research firms.
Yeah.
You will see it's largely in line, and it matches what Nicola is also saying, that for an entry level, getting job ready, the CFA takes a little edge. But as you go forward, when relationships matter, then maybe the MBA can give you an extra alternative, what I mentioned to your skill set as well at a later experience level. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Nicola. Guys, this is now open to all of you. So, all of you, any questions, any doubts about Nicola, about Kaplan, about the CFA program, or any whimsical question you may have in mind, please feel free to unmute yourself and directly ask Nicola or myself. If you feel comfortable, you can definitely type it out in the chat as well.
Mhm.
All right. It looks like our explanations were point on. Thank you, Nicola. Now, let me, while we've told you all the good stuff, let me put a little speed break to this as well. That, as Nicolas mentioned, when he looks at candidates, His first sight is if someone's in a CFA, they would have gone through the grind. They would have done the hard work to pick up the CFA charter. And in his own experience, in my experience, we know it isn't a piece of cake. It is not something you can just attend and clear or attend and get the certificate. It is something you really have to commit your time and effort and discipline as well. So that degree does speak of these qualities in addition to just your financial knowledge. So maybe to end the session, some recommendations to share all with you. That
Akshay, I think there
yes,
are two questions in the chat.
I'm so sorry. We should
Just
take that. We
before,
should take that up.
yeah.
We
So
should take that up first. Please do.
one is from Shima, and she asks, "Is CFA doable with full-time job?" And well, that was my case. When I took the program, I was having a full-time job. Is it doable? You really, that's why I said a few times methodology. You need to really be programming ahead, planning your time, because the exam day is not exam day without, I would say, 300 to 400 hours of preparation. Okay, that means Sunday morning, Saturday. That depends whether you are a morning person or a night person. I'm a morning person, so I tend to wake up early on, like 4 or 5, couple of hours. Then you can have your full day job, and 1, 2 hours in the evening to maybe refresh some concepts or participate Kaplan classes. The second, so it is doable. It is doable, but I would say that shows how organized you are. So go for it with a clear, I would say, mindset of having to know that every day the grind is on. Okay. The second question is
Uh,
from,
so,
oh
so
yeah,
just to
sure.
add to what, apology, Nicola, just to add to what you were saying. So, as Nicola mentioned, this is one of the disciplines which the CFA charter holder shows that you made your plan and you've done it very well. And to kind of enhance that fact further, obviously, the first time you're doing it, you don't really have to worry about how will I make a plan, how will I adjust it. We are there to help you out. We will give you the guidance to tell you that, look, this is how we do it. Keep it very simple, 1 hour a day, get your job done.
Yeah,
So
correct.
it's not as complicated as it look. It is just requires you to be able to commit that there's a 1 hour slot or 1.5 hour, depending on your commitment. This I can take out every single day to give it. My job is done. I will do it every single day without fail. So commitment from your side, but don't worry the planning. We are there to help you out. Nicola,
Correct.
please, the second question, Matika.
Yeah, the second question is from Matika. Any math skills we need to understand CFA? I would say everything is included in the program. I would call it high school math, more than enough. You will have to master. This is quite nice to know beforehand. You could bring to the exam day a calculator, okay, and only few types are allowed and permitted by CFA on the day of the exam. So during the 3 levels of the path, you will learn actually to master how to use that calculator. That's going to be one of your best friends on exam day, outside of Kaplan colleagues. So I would say, Atika, math skills, high school level is okay. It's good to go.
Just a background here, Atika, that the CFA is not a calculation based exam.
Correct.
So in level one, you will have 180 questions. In our experience, we don't see more than 20, 25 questions. Let's say in a rare case, out of those 180 questions, 30 being calculation based. And even if they are calculation based, they're mostly calculator techniques more than math techniques which are asked. So, as Nicola mentioned, high school maths is enough, but you don't have to worry about math skills on the exam day. You have 150 questions purely on the
Sì,
conceptual part.
sì.
Uh, Shima and Atika, were we able to answer your questions? Anything else on in addition to this?
Yeah, I hope we answered. Okay.
All right. So, perfect. So so as I was mentioning, that there is a let me show you the other side as well. There is a discipline, as we mentioned. There is a commitment required to this. It is no one saying it's going to be the easiest walk in the park, but if you stick to the plan, Trust me, you are going to get a higher chance of success than if you don't. So, what we recommend is to give you a flavor of what you should expect. That what we recommend is most of the conceptual part, leave it with us. You do your sessions, get your concepts clear
Mm.
at home. So, for example, in a week, you will have 7 hours on the weekends, which probably you'll spend on getting our concepts from us. When you go home back, we are request you to spend 1 hour a day. We call them our dailies. 1 hour a day, uh, and you should be good to go. Those 1 hours, what you're supposed to do is
Agree.
practice questions or
Agree.
revise any concepts which you're not clear on. We are always available any point of time on WhatsApp, on call, to catch up at the Kaplan office or after class, before class for any conceptual clarity or any help you require. So, like we attend the sessions, concept clear, get that part sorted first, make a discipline 1 hour a day, 7 hours a week. Read book once, practice as many questions as you can, and trust me, you would have prepared much better than 90% of the folk out there. So, like I say, the most important thing at the end is going to be your self commitment and practice. Um, just to add a few things, naturally, you don't have to worry about what is the syllabus, where do I look for references, where do I get questions, where can I, have I missed something? Everything, including the calculator, including the textbooks, including extra questions, including all the video recordings and materials, including trainer support, everything is provided to you. You just have to follow the plan and practice. So this is a sample of what you would end up seeing at a training institution. Everything is provided. Plus, obviously, the Kaplan portal will be there and handy with you on your mobile, on your laptop, everywhere you can. The access to materials will never be a challenge. Make the plan, stick to it, you'll be good to go. And a small benefit for all of you who've taken the time to attend this session, please do reach out to Sajma. Her contact details I mentioned here. And do mention this. If you want to take a snapshot of this, please do take a snapshot and send it to her. So I'll mention in the chat her email as well. And you can definitely reach out to Sajma regarding the program. We look forward to having you and hope that we'll be adding your name to this list. In case of any questions, do let us know. Otherwise, thank you for your time. Wishing you all the best. Thank you very much, Nicola. Thank you for your experience. Thank you for sharing
No
with
problem.
us.
Have a good one. Ciao, Akshay. We meet soon.
Absolutely, my
Ciao. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Doshan. Thank you, Shankar. Thank you, Shima. Thank you, Sabi. Thank you, Zamil. Thank you, Zia. Look forward to seeing you all.